Yes, I'm doing Jim Caruso's cast party. Just here, here.
You're just jealous because you are not going to be playing the 1812 Overture.
I tell you, that was incredible, Michael. Like I'd never seen one of those. We did Ring of Fire. We had a great accordionist, um, and I've never seen one of those electronic ones. That's like it was fantastic. He's such a great player. I mean, I don't know how did they
I,
how do you
I don't,
learn? Like,
and there are hundreds of buttons.
yeah,
I mean, I remember an accordion being
yeah.
like a keyboard on one side, and yeah, I mean, I didn't notice how many buttons there were, but I figured it was, a couple chords over here, and it was like, da 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 da
Yeah,
da, whatever that polka is, and you go, okay, well that's nice, but this is a whole other
it's like next level. That's some next level shit there.
next
I just thought
level.
it was fantastic. Well done, Michael. Well done.
Jarrod Emick, how are you?
Hey, Jim, I'm good. I'm good. So thanks so much for having me on. It's kind of the where are they now kind of
Oh,
portion of the show.
that's what people say when they're
Whatever happened to?
where is shut up. Well, a lot has changed in your life since you lived in New York City.
Yes, very much. Yeah, I I now work as a licensed residential appraiser. I kind of tell people, I give people my opinion of how much their home is worth. And yeah, I have like a massive, I'm sitting in my office now. I have like three monitors, one vertical, and I spend a lot of time at the desk. I have two beautiful boys.
You
Walker
have the
is
most
7.
beautiful family. I
Yeah. Oh gosh. Oh yeah.
look at
Yeah.
that crew.
And yeah, yeah. We get our yeah. Sarah's very my wife, beautiful and talented as well. That's why we came here. She was doing Jersey Boys. She We were living in Los Angeles, and a track opened up in here in Vegas, and I was like, oh, you got to get that. You got to get
Right.
to
Oh,
it.
I have a lot of friends that were in that company. That
Yeah.
was a
Well,
great company.
and it was cool. It was kind of a condensed kind of version of Jersey Boys. I mean, I say condensed. It wasn't like it, but it just such a great show. I was really happy that I got to see the original cast
Yeah.
of that show. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
oh, good,
great
right?
show. Yeah, but that's why we came here to Vegas. And yeah, I kind of do stuff now, kind of on my terms. It's really nice. If something I basically only do stuff that people call me and ask me, like, "Hey, Jarrod, you want to do this?" And it's essentially now it has to be. I have to kind of make it economically feasible. I can't just leave my family. So I was really feeling I had a really great year last year, which is so wild because I felt so badly for all our friends and colleagues. It was a very harsh kind of reality to come to grips with, and I mean, and you spoke to them too, Jim. I mean, there's like people we all know that were like, I can't pay
Oh,
my fucking rent.
no,
Like
I mean, the panic
this.
that sets in
Yeah,
is,
and
I mean,
so
that's
yeah,
people say to me about this show, you're so brave, you're so innovative. No, I needed a gig.
yeah.
And so you create what you do what you do. You why was your year so good? Because people were moving and
It
you
had no the COVID, the pandemic had no impact whatsoever on real estate. It was like,
right.
especially here in Vegas, it was on fire. Like, and so I do appraisals for refinances and purchases, and
Yes.
every once in a while I'll do a private appraisal, and um, had no effect. I mean,
That's
prices
great.
prices have just
Well,
skyrocketed here in Vegas, but yeah, so
well,
it
good.
was good, and I was
You deserve it. You
so
deserve it
fortunate.
all. Listen,
So
when
fortunate.
okay, so here's a question. When you were starting your career, you
Yeah.
moved from South Dakota to New York
Mhm.
City. Was that the move that
Yeah.
happened?
Yeah.
What that must have been, I can only imagine the shock to the system that that must have been.
Well,
Um,
I wanted to get out. I wanted to
yes.
get out of South Dakota. Like, I love it there. It's there. I have friends there that like I completely disagree with on a lot of issues. It's definitely kind of a red state, um, but I wanted to leave. I was like, well, there's got to be something better than this. And easier. I mean, I was working my ass off. I mean, my dad was like Mr. Project. He grew up there,
Yeah.
um, worked his ass off, and we worked our asses off. It was only until both my brother and I like left that he got all the nice equipment. That required no manual, like uh,
So you were working in farming, like
yeah.
that kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I have the story that I used to sit on, the tractor. I could just sing my brains out, and over this loud 210, 750 case, leveling land or cutting hay, and I would sing, but I never really did much sports in high school, mostly because I was really small. I was like 5'10" and probably like 100 pounds, like soaking wet with all my clothes on. So, and yeah, and I was kind of known as the
Leveling
yeah
land.
fine arts fairy.
You know what
Yeah,
that is? That sounds hard. Um, so you come to New York. Your
yeah.
first show was Miss Saigon.
Actually, I toured with Les Mis, and hey, I was
Oh,
watching, I was watching, and Reed Armstrong, if you're still out there, he like chimed in. I replaced Reed in Les Mis, a flag boy. Woo, Jean Prouvaire. Um,
oh wow.
so I was his replacement. Reed, you left it. You can like chime in here. I never met Reed, but it was the most daunting like task ever. I mean, to go into Les Mis like in 2 weeks was
Oh
insane.
my
But I
God.
was like, I'm going into my favorite show. It was fantastic. So yes, Les Mis first, and I toured with Les Mis for probably almost a year,
Wow.
and then had the audition for Saigon when Willie was leaving. Sean McDermott came in, to replace him, and so I got that track. Um, it was great. Vinny Liff was just like, and it was Mitchell Lemsky at my audition, and he was like, "Let me ask you something. Do you want this like role?" And Vinny Liff's in the back going, "What the fuck are you talking about? Of course he like wants to like do this."
No,
Like,
no, I'm going to go
oh,
back to singing on a tractor.
yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah,
but so
yeah. So
you were working a lot, but
never stopped.
it wasn't till Damn Yankees happened that everything just opened up. Look. First of all, you and BB Newworth,
Beatrice,
fu- huh?
Beatrice.
Beatrice Newworth, funny, sexy,
Oh
hilarious
yeah,
together. That cast: Victor Garber, Dick Latessa, Vicki Lewis, and then Jerry Lewis. What I
love.
mean,
Yeah, love.
what?
That's my brother. It's my brother John.
Oh,
Um, uh,
tell us,
yeah,
tell us the Jerry Lewis story.
A Jerry Lewis story. Well, I
Yes.
told it Jerry. I posted I made a post and um, wrote a post. I don't know what you've done about Jerry when he passed away. And there was Jerry was seat of his pants. Like, I mean, he did not give a shit. Like the screen door on Meg's house didn't like work once, and he just came around, just bust the fourth wall, like, and Susan Manser did the same thing. It just became a running joke. But he was always very very professional. And there was one scene where he was looking at me, and he was like, "I'm going to be doing all my stuff. I'm going to be doing this, and I'm just going to start being crazy. And you'll know when I'm done. I will do that with my shoulder." He's like, and then you know that I'm like done, and you can go on. But he would try this, and he would do everything. Like it was hysterical, but I wouldn't, I just like,
No, you couldn't.
I just stare at him. And so it got to be a thing for him. And uh and so one night, after he'd really tried really hard to get me to break, I didn't. And he came backstage. It was the interval, how UK of me. It was intermission, and he came back to me and was like, "What the hell gives, kid? Like, I'm giving you everything out there. You don't laugh. Why don't you laugh?" And I really didn't think about it. I just said, "Well, Jarrod, I don't think you're that funny." And he fell on the floor like howling. And that's why I said I'll never forget the time when I made Jerry Lewis laugh. But I was there for his Broadway debut.
For that, because to get a good straight man is almost as hard as finding somebody who's funny, somebody that can just stare straight into his brain and not laugh and just be the perfect straight man. And that was you.
Yeah, he was. Well, thank you for that. He literally taught me so much, and not just on stage, but literally where the term "break a leg" comes from. And you may know this, but he told me it was from the vaudeville days, and the crew would only get paid if they performed an action. Like you remember Johnny Carson's show where he'd come out, and there was somebody that would page that. Well, those are legs on the side,
Yes.
the legs.
The drapes.
Yeah, you get paid. You break that leg for a performer. You break a leg.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, and he just a geyser. And I came to realize too what it really meant by having him rolling in the aisles. Because I swear to God, Jack and Brian and I would sit while he would just be running through stuff. I mean, literally, Jim, on my knees, clutching the chair in front of me in the theater, just howling. You never saw anybody.
What a joy and what an honor.
Yeah, but that whole cast was just fantastic.
The whole cast was insane. But you, my friend, won the damn Tony. Now, I happen to look at that. There you are.
Yay.
Look at that.
They immediately take it away from you, too, or at least at that point.
Right, so they can engrave it.
Prop.
Right. Here you go.
What the hell? Yeah.
I was watching it last night, and Nell Carter looked so happy to give you that. It was like maybe you were her favorite. Your speech was so good. It was really short and really sweet. How did this young, up-and-coming Broadway star celebrate something so enormous?
I ended up over in a bar on 9th Avenue with a buddy of mine that I did Saigon with, Matt Peterson. I think it was Sullivan's.
One of those old Irish pubs.
Yeah, one of those little Irish pubs over there on 9th. And but they immediately took me across the street. I think it was at the Gershwin, and they immediately took me across the street. But I went down into this room with everybody, and I had this little press release that somebody gave me, and it was Stephen Sondheim, and I got all these people to sign this press release, and actually I got the last picture with Jessica Tandy and Hume Cronin that was ever taken of them. And we were, yeah. And so the people that were in there, I was not even, in this like league. I don't remember really anything about running up there.
I'm
And
sure it's.
I mean, I was 24 years old, and I was so grateful. Although I did, Jim, I worked really hard, and I had a coach, and I still talk to him, Alan Savage, and he started coaching me even with Saigon, and he coached Hinton Battle in Miss Saigon too, and we all know how that turned out. So he's very good, and when I got cast in that show, I never wanted to look back and say there wasn't. I didn't. If I'd have done that, I would. I
Right.
didn't want to look back and say there wasn't something I didn't do that could. So I was literally at Allen's at 7 o'clock in the morning, working on the stuff that we would be rehearsing starting at 10 down to 8:90.
I mean, that's
And
called taking advantage of the situation, people.
Jack O'Brien was like, "You're going to make me look like a genius."
Yes, that's what you want to
You're
hear.
going to make me look like a genius.
You did such great stuff. You did Brad in Rocky Horror, Greg and the Boy from Oz, which I loved, and then a great show called Ring of Fire, which you mentioned, TV and films. Do your kids know about your showbiz career? Do they?
No.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, much like any other singers or that have kids, whenever Sarah or I start singing at all, they're like, "Shut up!
Nice.
Stop singing! Can you please stop
Yeah.
singing?" So
That's nice. Supportive.
but he wants to play guitar. My youngest wants to play guitar. My oldest is playing the drums. He's very into AC/DC. I like his taste.
Hilarious.
Yeah. So they are. I wouldn't say that I would push them to do say the arts, but I would support them with whatever they want to do. I just don't think I want them to play football though.
Yeah.
It's just I want them to walk normal by the time they graduate.
Yes, exactly. I like them being little rockers. I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
So, by the way, we are bringing Billy Stritch and I will be in Las Vegas at the Smith Center on December 1st. And put it in your book because I would sure love to see you.
Yeah, I'd love to see you. I think we talked about that.
Yeah, we always have a blast there.
Yeah.
Here's what I wonder about when you left. I mean, New York City is fabulous. It's a rat race. It's a daily thing. Is there anything you miss about the city other than, I assume, certain friends but like, what do you look back on and think, oh God, I miss that.
I miss the like just the culture. Just there's everything happens in New York. Like the different things that I saw that you can see in the city, going to the Met, seeing like the ballet, like these kind of things. And I saw, a bluegrass band that I love down at Joe's Pub. They played down there.
Vegas is no slouch in the entertainment world. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't want to give it like any crap. But people are like, oh, you should get involved with the stuff. Jersey Boys was the last production contract show here in Vegas. So the performance here, like, it's not very lucrative. But as far as, I mean, Vegas doesn't hold a candle to New York, just kind of culturally. Like, I always kind of thought that Vegas doesn't really have a style, or people think of it and they think of the Strip and they think of gambling. But I mean, they come from all over the world. There's like 45 million people come through this town like every year. But New York has got a style. I miss my friends. I just miss, I do miss my time in the city. It was hard to believe that I spent that much time there. I arrived, funny story, when I came to New York.
A lot.
Yeah. When I first came to New York, and you were talking about it was like 1990, I think. My mother made my plane reservation to New York. And do you know George Sanders, right? Not
Yes.
the famous actor, but George Sanders,
Yeah.
from Don't Tell Mamas and everything.
Yes.
Just wonderful human being. I love George. And I was gonna stay with him because he was like, well, you should come to New York. You could get work. I got an extra room. You can stay there. I'm gone. So my mother is like, I told her, I'm going to stay with George. I'm going to be in Greenwich Village. I'm going to be staying in Greenwich Village. She books my flight to Greenwich, Connecticut.
Perfect.
So I have to get in a car and drive all the way down and so I met George at the duplex.
You got
At the duplex with 2 suitcases, threw him over the bar, proceeded to get absolutely hammered with the president of Sotheby's. I think, yeah, it was so random.
Wow.
That was my first night in New York. In New York.
That is hilarious.
the Greenwich, Connecticut. Oh my God.
I remember when I first got here, somebody said, this apartment is on 88 Central Park West. So I took a cab to 88th Street, thinking that's how that worked. You just have to be here for a minute. If you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah. I had to.
At least I wasn't in Greenwich, Connecticut. That was bad.
I was absolutely lost. I mean, things just start to get squirrely when you get down, south of 14th Street. It's just, I was like, where the hell am I? Just trying to navigate myself. And I would go to George with, he worked at Don't Tell Mamas uptown at 45th, is it? Would it be 45th? Something like that. But, and then the duplex and I would always go in early because these piano players that they had there, it doesn't matter. They don't need no sheet music or nothing. They're like, what's the song? Oh, okay, I know that. And I would practice these songs that I would want to audition with, like early before everybody started showing up. And so, yeah. And I was very fortunate. I remember meeting Andrew Greenman, my first agent. I met him down at Rose's Turn down in the Village, and I remember having my photo albums like with my reviews from college, productions. Like, here's what they sent him on me, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, and Andrew's like, yeah, okay, that's okay, that's good. But I finally got an agent, and
amazing.
I was very fortunate, and like I said, there was a long time there where I did not stop working, and fortunate that any of the shows I left, they didn't like close. I left them. I mean, so
right.
Yeah.
Well, you got in some of the most popular shows of all time,
and that was the time too. And I think about this too as timing, as I was like, it was the era, the 90s. It was the era of like, wow, big time like singers. Like, okay, you got them straight guys that can just like wail, and it was I fit right in that.
Your timing was really good.
Yeah, and that's really. And so if that ever comes around, I always tell anybody who's willing to listen or new in the city, just like get it. And if you're lucky enough to have an agent, and you're auditioning for stuff, it's just a matter of time, but really enjoy it. I mean, really enjoy that time, because it's only a matter of time. If you got something, because I spent a lot of time thinking I need to be doing fucking work with Tom Hanks. I need to be like doing, I was very, like I said, you watch Ted Lasso. My spirit animal was like Roy Kent.
I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know what that means.
Oh, good. Oh, you got to see it. It's absolutely fantastic. But you really enjoy that, like that time, because
absolutely. I mean, that's the thing, is we have to enjoy all of this. We have to enjoy this time, whatever time, because what else is there? It's all over.
Get a coach. Work. Just because you're like working on Broadway doesn't mean you know everything. Doesn't mean you stop. You sound like working. Please get a coach, guys. It's why you see people like do 700 Broadway shows, but it's like nothing. I tell you what, they remembered my Joe Hardy. They remembered my Joe Hardy. Okay, I worked my ass off on that. And it's not that he's the most complex character that it was ever written, but there's a lot of pitfalls for him.
Right.
And everybody's like, kind of like saying, yeah, I'm like Joe. No, he also has a very serious side. He also, he can get mad. My coach, I remember him saying, just don't worry so much. And this is true for everything. Don't worry so much about being fucking liked. Don't worry about like being liked, and he's like, it makes my teeth ache. Like,
Not being liked.
Yeah. Like doing Joe Hardy. He's like, just don't worry. They're going to make up their minds whether they like you in the first like 10 seconds they see you. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. So, but it's not.
But that's a great thing about life. Like, why can't we always know that when we're meeting people? Like, they're either going to, you can't do anything about it. Like a friend of mine says, you do your gig and then you go have a burger. You can't, you just can't worry about what other people think. You have to do your job as well as you can and then move on, which you have done for many, many years, my friend. And I can't wait to see you in Vegas. I thank you so much for talking to us tonight.
Of course.
And join us again.
Okay, I will. Anytime.
Look, people are loving it. People are getting all kinds of great comments.
I got thousands of stories.
Well, you'll come back and tell more.
I'd love to.
All right.
Do your gig and have a burger, Jim.
I'm gonna. That sounds really good right now. That's what tonight's gonna be.
I miss Carmine's. That's what I miss the most.
Oh God. Well, that can happen easily.
Bowl of pasta the size of your head.
Truly. You're the best. Thank you, Jarrod.
Love you, man. Thank you all. We'll see you.
Jarrod Emick.